Kim here, and I'm back with another video. So if this is your first time on the channel, I just want to say welcome and thank you so much for watching. And if you like what you see, feel free to hit that subscribe button and be sure to click that notification bell. That way you never miss an upload from me. And if you're an OG that's been here for a minute, thank you so much for coming back. So we are here with another tiny home build, and of course we are building in my favorite residential world of Windenberg. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like Windenberg has a lot of different elements that makes it really attractive to build here. You can go from the countryside to the beaches to a wonderful cityscape all in one world. So I just feel like that's the big appeal for me. I feel like Windenberg is the biggest world. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Windenberg has the most lots out of any neighborhood. And I think that's also the appeal for me. I don't know. It's either Windenberg or maybe even Willow Creek. I don't know. Maybe technically San Myshuno might have the most if you're counting the apartments. But anyway, I feel like Windenberg is the most expensive world. So I can never get bored of this place. But anyway, let's talk about this build. I don't have a name for it, of course, but it is a tiny home. And what makes this one special is that it is going to be on the side of like this little lake, pond, creek, whatever you want to call it. It's a little body of water that's out front, and I just feel like it really has your Sims get in touch with nature almost. I don't know, I really love how everything came out. One thing that I've really been missing in The Sims 4 is something from The Sims 3, which is called the pond tool, and it's basically like a tool where you can make ponds, obviously, but what it'll do, it'll lower the terrain down until it hits water level. And I just really love how smooth and organic that came out. Hopefully one day we'll get something like that. I mean, you know, we've gotten other tools as The Sims 4 has progressed, but there's just some things that I really miss. So I don't know, hopefully fingers crossed we'll get something like that. But for now I'm just using the pull tool, and I just used the kind of free select pull tool, and I kind of made something that I thought looked like a lake. But yeah, we're working on the structure of the house here, and I made it even smaller than what I intended. As you saw, I just removed some pieces, and I really wanted to have an expansive deck. Like, I feel like with tiny homes, what makes them feel even bigger is being able to utilize that outdoor space, especially on the docu-series on YouTube that I've been watching called Living Big in a Tiny House. A lot of the tiny homes have these deck areas where people can go out and exercise, or they entertain, or they grill and just relax and get back in touch with nature. So that's something that I really wanted to touch on. And my particular tiny house has two decks. So there's like the bigger, it's not exactly a wrap around deck, but wrap kind of around deck towards the front, and then there's like a little sliver of a deck out back where we'll put our outdoor dining. So I really like how that came out. The aesthetic that I was going for in this tiny home was definitely modern. Like, I wanted it to be simple but functional, but I also wanted to look attractive. So I went for my usual color scheme: black, white, grays, and neutral tones, the monochromatics and the neutrals. I just feel like those are the most palatable for the things that are going to be more permanent. So like walls, flooring, cabinetry, appliances. And I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I've always been like interested in interior design and architecture. Like, really anything art is my bag. And I just feel like if you make your base neutral enough, or quote unquote palatable enough, you can easily add a pop of color with furniture, like throw pillows and accessories, and even just like your clothing. Like, if you have like a really basic type closet, you can freshen it up with like your clothing choices to make it not feel so plain, you know? So I don't know, that's just what I like, and that's what I did here. Even though I don't have a lot of quote unquote pops of color, I feel like when other people decide to download it, they can easily make it more their taste. easily by changing up some things. But anyway, as you saw, I created like this level above. This level is not accessible. I just did that so I can add in a half wall, and I got rid of that roof, and now I'm working on the front entryway because you have to be able to enter the house somehow, right? So I use a lot of glass. Well, I can't say a lot of glass, but I try my best to use as many windows as possible without making the home feel exposed. And I think I did a pretty okay job with that. The layout itself is pretty open. The only room that's totally enclosed is the bathroom, but the bedroom, the living space, and the kitchen are all pretty open. Like, it's not closed off. It's all technically one room as far as The Sims is concerned. And then like I said, on the back deck we do our little dining space. Right now I am picking out some cabinets, and originally this wall was going to be kind of like our entertainment area, like with a big TV and like a couch and all of that, but I saw how much space I really had to work with, so I rethought that and I made that space for the kitchen. So the kitchen is just pretty much one line, the bare minimum. So a refrigerator, stove, sink, and one counter to prep the food on. That's really all you need. And we're working in our bedroom now. So this is like that diagonal piece off the side. And I closed this room up some by adding in a wall, so the bed really feels separate from your living room. It might be some people's taste, but I don't necessarily want my guests to be able to see my bedroom. So just adding in that little bit of wall adds a little bit of separation, but it's not completely closed off, so you don't feel claustrophobic in this tiny home. It's open, but you still feel like you have a sense of privacy, and that's what I was going for. So yeah, now I'm picking out some appliances. That refrigerator, if I'm not mistaken, came with the Parenthood pack, and those cabinets or counters came with base game actually. And now I'm just picking the indoor walls. I think this one is from Base Game, and I guess it's the equivalent to shiplap. So that's what I was going for anyway. And I put in that sliding door, but I do get rid of it. I mean, look, the living room is only 5 tiles long, and I have this 4 tile door. Like, it just didn't make sense. So I do get rid of that. I did not want to lose the vertical space and like all of the real estate that I had on the walls with just putting in this big door that was really too big for this tiny home. So I opted to use the sliding door that came with the Moschino pack, and I really love those doors. My only complaint about that door is that it's not the same height as the windows. So I love The Sims 4, and every time we get a pack with some really decent build items, I genuinely get excited, but I just don't understand why they don't make the windows the same height as the doors. Like, that's just something that boggles my mind. If anyone has the answer, feel free to drop it down in the comments, because I would really like to know. Anyway, back on the inside, we are working on the kitchen. I think that stove that I added is from Base Game, and that sink is definitely from Base Game. You know, like I said, keeping it very simple. And I'm adding in some cabinetry also from Base Game. That is the set that comes matching with those counters, even though to me the color looks off. I don't know if that's just a me thing or what, but I don't feel like those colors match. I think this is I don't know, maybe it's just me. Anyway, I am deciding on some flooring, and I think I go with this flooring from the Get Famous pack in the main area, and then in the bathroom I just go with some Base Game tiles. Just keep it simple, you know, nothing too over the top. No matter how hard I try to keep things simple, my houses always end up kind of expensive, and I don't know if that's just the finishings that I'm choosing or if it's the appliances, and I don't know. Maybe if you guys are interested, I can restrict my budget and make something more starter home friendly, or you know, whatever. Let me know. Leave a comment down below of what you want to see next from me. I'm definitely open. And if you want me to do something that's pack restrictive or price restrictive, or even like if you want me to build in a certain location, let me know. I have every pack except for the My First Pet stuff pack. I'm just not here for it. Probably because I don't really play with cats and dogs like that. Don't get me wrong, like in real life I'm a dog person, but I don't have any pets, and I don't know, it's just a lot. I love the items from cats and dogs. I just don't play with the cats and dogs as often. So I definitely wasn't here for my first pet stuff. I have thoughts on that, but I'm going to keep those to myself. Anyway, at this point, I'm adding in more furniture in the bedroom. So I'm just putting in a little desk here. And I love the fact that we have laptops now. It took them long enough, but we got them and I'm here for it. And I'm just adding in some rugs, and I got a little side table. So sometimes when I'm building, I get like creator's block, and I don't know if this is just a me thing. Like if you also get creator's block, let me know down below what you do to work past it. But what I've been trying lately is to create a family to build for, and honestly it's been working. So for example, with this home, I made it for a young couple. They're not married yet, like this is like their first home together, so they didn't want anything huge and they didn't want to be stuck paying a mortgage. Like they're trying to do things the smart way and only use what they need, and they just so happen to come across this beautiful land, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Anyway, both of them are freelancers. So one is a freelance programmer and the other one is a freelance writer. So they didn't need like a whole lot of space to work. They mainly just needed laptops and places to work. And their aesthetic is like just simple, clean, modern. So that's what kind of helped to shape it for me. And the freelance programmer has an interest in photography, so I don't know, that helps me with picking out styles and picking out accessories, and I don't know, and like I really wanted to utilize these photo frames also from the Moschino stuff pack. So I like the fact that we kind of have like this multi-frame situation. I just want more multi-frame situations. But you know, we're getting there. Speaking of the Moschino stuff pack, I love the gameplay that's been added. I kind of wish that this didn't have to come with a pack. I kind of wish it was just like a base game update, because I mean, we all use cameras. But with that being aside, I love the new gameplay where in the camera you kind of have like this free camera mode where you can like rotate the camera in a 3D space. It's not perfect, but I love it, and I've been able to get some interesting shots. It's just, if you do have a Moschino pack and you want to utilize that feature, you also have to pull out the tripod and set your camera on top, and when you want to take pictures, you want to click on the tripod, not the camera, because it's not going to work if you have the camera. Anyway, love it. I love the build items that came with it, especially those windows and like the rugs and like the wall art is great. I'm not exactly here for the cast items, but you know, we'll talk about that some other time. But I just wanted to say I love the items that came with the Moschino pack. And there's like this bookcase, and it's awesome. It is awesome. Anyway, back to the bedroom. I'm adding in this little ottoman at the foot of the bed. That's something that I always wanted in my real life. And in my real life, I am trying to work on my home aesthetics. Like I'm constantly cleaning and thinking about what to do next. If you all want me to build my real life house and me discuss plans for the future, I will be here for it. Just let me know down in the comments. Like I want to be able to create content that you all are here for and want to see, so definitely let me know what you want to see. I am open to your ideas. Anyway, back to the build. I lowered down that half roof that's upstairs just so it doesn't look like a whole new level, because it's not going to be accessible. I was going to make it accessible and like put like a rooftop garden, but honestly, I didn't have a lot of space. Now, if we had ladders, which is something I hope that we get in the future, that would have been perfect. But since we don't, I'm not going to fret about it. At this point, I'm just adding in some lighting around, just making sure that the place is well lit at night. We are in the countryside, so you know, if you ever been to the countryside in real life, I I know the countryside that I've been to, like at night, like if you don't have your own lights, you're like in pitch darkness unless it's a starry night, and it's so beautiful. If you ever want to see the most beautiful stars, go to the countryside at night. It's beautiful because they don't have like a lot of street lights and skyscrapers and things to really distract you from the night sky. But again, if you don't have lights, you can't see. So I wanted to make sure I lit that area. And I'm just doing some more terraforming, just kind of building up the terrain to make sure that it's supporting the house and that everything is kind of smoothed out and not bumpy. It's not perfect, but I try my best. I definitely try my best. And I am adding in some stairs so we can have some access from the deck down to this kind of bridge that's around what's going to be our lake. And I'm just editing the lake some, expanding it a little bit and trying to make it look more lake-like. I wanted to put it underneath the deck, but it wasn't really letting me do that, I guess, because the deck and those stilted is technically a foundation, so you can't put water under a foundation. So I get it, I just kind of wish I could. If you're wondering where I got those cars from, I got them from the debug menu. Also, that's where I got those solar panels. Yes, solar panels, the ones that are on top of the building. You can access it by using the new cheat bb.show live edit objects. That will help you find it, but if you want to find it quicker, just go on the gallery and like search it. And some people, they have been amazing. Like they put a lot of the different debug items in like rooms, so it's a lot easier to access, and that's what I did. That's how I accessed that car and those solar panels. Now I'm just adding in some trees and some rocks around our quote-unquote pond, which is technically a pool, just to make it feel a bit more natural. I just wish that we had a pond tool, but you know what, until then we're going to work with what we have. And I'm just adding in some flowers and trying to just make it look less jaggedy. And I'm going in with my terrain paint right now around those edges. And I think I choose kind of like a murkier water. That murky water either comes with the Get Together pack or basically I'm not entirely sure. But I'm pretty sure that tile around the pool, the kind of brown tile, came with the Get Together pack, which is the world that Windenberg comes in, if you did not know. So yeah, I'm just adding in some stairs here just to make sure we have a nice little connection. And I am adjusting these slate tiles that came with the City Living pack just to give that door a little bit of privacy. And I love this little flower piece that came with cats and dogs inside of the tire. I just feel like it adds a little bit of a rustic feel. It's funny me saying a rustic feel because this lot is originally called Rustic Residence, so it's just funny. But yeah, I am just adding in that side table that I believe came with the Moschino stuff pack. And I feel like it pairs beautifully on this deck. The colors are really similar. And if you're wondering where those wicker chairs are from, they are from the Island Living pack. Now we are working on our outdoor dining area, which is on kind of like that back patio. And guys, it was tight. Like, this is only 2 tiles wide. So as much as I really wanted to have like a big table for your Sims to have guests, in all reality, it just wasn't working. So I eventually switched that out for a smaller table, and I put a couple other things. But I love those little wooden accent pieces. I can't quite remember what pack it came from, but I can tell you it either came with the backyard stuff pack or the perfect patio stuff pack. I get those confused because they're really similar. They are really similar. I don't know if it's just me or what, but those packs are really similar. And now I'm just going through some windows. I think, yes, I add in this window that came with the Moschino stuff pack. Again, I really love that kind of grid pattern. And I like the fact that this window is slightly open. I would love it more if my Sims can open and close it themselves. But you know what? one thing at a time. I just love the fact that we have that option. And I'm just adding in a couple other things. I added in a laundry basket and a wash tub, and I eventually put in a hanging clothesline. And I like these little bamboo rugs that came with the spa day pack. I don't know, I just feel like it just adds a little bit of zen to the place. And don't worry, we get rid of those cars eventually, but right now they're just chilling on the roof. Anyway, I'm adding in, if you can hear that, just ignore it. Anyway, I'm adding in some stairs here, and the stairs are going to allow your Sims to just come from the street to where they will quote unquote park their cars and go up the walkway to the front of the house. Now, with that, I really wanted to close off the pool, because honestly, I eventually add like rocks and shrubs and stuff, but before, like, we had the welcome party to come around, and like the neighbors were like hopping in the pool to swim across and come in the house, and I'm like, why are all these people at my back door with their bathing suits on? So we fixed that, and then I added in this cute little fire pit that came with the outdoor retreat pack, if I'm not mistaken, and I just put a bunch of different chairs. Like, I wanted to feel like a really homey type of setup, you know. I just really like it. I thought it was super cool, and I made sure to with those stools that I believe came with the jungle adventure pack, I just switched up the swatches so they didn't look completely uniform. And now I'm just adding in some trees. So that big tree is a oak tree, and I added some European trees. I'm not sure what they're called exactly, but it's European something. And the reason why I add those trees is I wanted to kind of match the area around it. So I saw like some big trees, and then I also saw some trees with like the kind of white roots and the trunk of the tree. I guess that's the best way to describe it. I don't know, I just really wanted it to match. So yeah, I'm just trying to flatten the area so like when your Sims sit down, like they can actually sit down and there's no routing errors. And I play tested everything, so everything comes out fine. So I'm happy with it, but it was just a little ways to go to get there. And now I'm adding in these shrubs. Oh, well, I skipped forward. I apologize. But I added in some of those shrubs that came with the Island Living pack. And I just really like how bushy they were. And now we are in our debug menu, and I'm pulling out these rocks. So if you put in all of the cheats, so the move objects on cheat, the show hidden objects cheat, and the show live edit objects cheat, in the search bar you could type in the word Cliff Rocks, 2 words, Cliff Rocks, and then you'll get like these big rocks. And I wish I could have done more. Like, I literally would have done more. I just ran out of space on the lot, but I really like them because it's a quick way to add in a cluster of rocks, and some of them have like this moss on it, and they also have a version without the moss, which you can see right there. And I just really feel like it made it, I think it feels more like nature, if that makes sense. And I tried my best to blend it in with that raised elevation that we did. And I'm just cycling through all of my options, so please disregard all of that. But I'm just adding in clusters of rocks, and it's nice to have a bit more of variety than like the 5 rocks that I've been using forever. So it's nice. And I actually kind of stumbled across them by accident. Like, I was expecting something else when I typed in Cliff Rocks, but I was so happy with the results. So yeah, give that a try if you want to just add a bit of variety to your terrain. Again, I'm adding in more of those shrubs that came with the Island Living pack. I just feel like they're really bushy, and they don't exactly go with the world around, but I was just trying to cover a lot of space because it was late when I was doing this part. It was after midnight when I was working on this part. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this, like really just filling in everything and knowing that I'm coming to the finish line and getting closer to sharing this with you all. That's what really kept me going late at night. And I think I replaced that big tree that's in the back with a smaller tree, because that is a huge tree. I mean, I don't know if you notice it, but that tree is from the outdoor retreat pack, and that's like the biggest tree in the game, if I'm not mistaken. And it it really looked out of place. It really did. So I do replace that, and I think I'm about to do that now. Yeah. And I think the tree that I replaced it with also came with the outdoor retreat pack, but you know, it's a little bit more tame. And then this other white tree that's by the car, that one came from Cats and Dogs. Now I'm just in our lake pond area, adding in a little bit of moss and I'm terrain painting around just to blend it in a little bit more. There's no way to really hide that it's a pool trim, but I try my best to blend it. And I'm just concealing that area with more of these cliff rocks, and I don't know, I'm just trying to hide the trim, make it not look so jagged, make it look a little bit more organic. I'm doing my best. But I really like how it came out. I like the feeling that it gives off. I really feel like it feels more of a lake and not just like a dirty pool. And don't worry, your Sims can still swim in here, which is amazing. I just wanted them to swim from inside of the lot and not when you first arrive, because that's kind of weird. But anyway, at this point I'm just still littering the lot with these rocks, and I'm going to add in some shrubs just to kind of soften up everything. So yeah, that's that. And what else? I'm just adjusting some trees, trying to make the space feel more spaced out, I guess. And I'm adding in some planter boxes, so if your Sims wanted to grow their own vegetables or even make a career out of it, they have a little bit of a start. And now we're on the back side. I'm getting rid of that big table, and I'm going to just use a smaller table so just these two Sims can come and eat. And I mean, and if there are more guests, I mean, they can eat on the other deck, or you know, there's ways around it. And we got a little grill. I'm going to put a table so your Sims can set their stuff on, and yeah, just make the house feel a bit more complete. But anyway, you guys, I have rambled on enough. If you've made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I like knowing that people are watching and reading your comments. It really motivates me to keep making these videos. So thank you. If you made it this far and haven't done so already, feel free to subscribe. What are you waiting for? And be sure to hit that bell, that way you never miss an upload from me. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. It helps me and the channel out a lot. And if you feel so inclined to, follow me on my social medias, which will all be linked down in the description box below. And feel free to download this from the gallery. I will have that information down below. And my gallery name is Simply-Nisey YT. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.